Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome back, everyone, to King's Quest III, where we have just returned to the place where Manannan was turned into a cat, or Catannan, as one of my witty commenters dubbed him in a previous video. I thought about mentioning, I actually forgot to mention in the last video, I don't know how many of you folks know that song Mein Teil by Rammstein, but several years ago it struck me that that song would fit pretty well with this scene, because you know how the chorus for the song says, "You are what you eat, and I know what it is. Den du bist, was du isst." Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and leave Manannan behind, and we will not see him again for the rest of this game, although I apologize if this is a bit of a spoiler, but I think most of you have probably already played all the King's Quest games. You know what happens. So if it's a spoiler for anyone, I apologize, but we will be seeing Manannan again in King's Quest V, if only briefly. He makes sort of a cameo appearance. But anyway, not that I'm necessarily going to let's play King's Quest V. Please don't take that as a indication that I will, but I'm just saying that if you do play King's Quest V, you'll see Manannan in that game. Anyway. So now that we've gotten rid of Manannan, our inventory is empty because we hid everything under the bed. So the first thing we should probably do is get all our stuff back from under the bed, just like that. And while we're recollecting stuff that we got rid of to not arouse Manannan's suspicion, let's go ahead and get his magic wand, which is the other thing that we want to make sure not to forget, because we will be needing some more of that. Open cabinet. Inside you find the wizard's magic wand. After closing the door, you carefully relock it. And we won't need to put it back in there again, because Manannan's not going to make any more problems for us. Let's go ahead and move the books and pull the lever just to get that taken care of. But before I go down there, there are two things... There are two inventory items which I still haven't gotten and which I do want to get. Let me go ahead and quickly just save the game where we are. So let's go ahead and take a look at the map. So the map has been pretty much filled in except for the right-hand side. So on the left, there was just the desert. There was nothing there except Medusa, the cactus, and the snakeskin, all of which we got. Down here at the bottom, that yellow thing is the Three Bears house. And these little red squares here, that's the shop and the tavern where we were. Let's go ahead and teleport to here. There's that spider's cave up there. We can't do anything about the spider just yet, but we will be able to do something soon. And here's the ocean. Here is the... oh, that's cool. Gwydion just sort of teleported forward. I can't go back now, but he teleported from the top of that cliff to down here where he is now. So one thing that I did forget to do is get the ocean water. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's get water. Oh, you need to move closer. That's what she said. Oh, how close do I need to get? Okay, now I'm in the water. Okay, you fill your cup with ocean water. So that just filled up the cup that we got from the dining room. And let's go ahead and just take a stroll down the ocean just to fill in the missing squares on the map. Oh, I think I can walk under this pier, or not. I thought I could, yeah, we can, okay, we can swim under it anyway. And here we go. I like this little scene with the smoke and the seagulls in the background. And that's it. That's, that should be all the, yep, that's all the squares on the map filled in now. So I got the ocean water. The other thing that we do need, and what's quite difficult to get, well, it's not difficult to get once it spawns, but the thing that we do need is the eagle feather. I'm going to go ahead and save here again. But what I really do need to do is get the eagle feather. And the only way you can get that is to wait for the eagle to fly across the top of the screen, and then when he does, pick up the feather that he sometimes drops. So occasionally, I guess it's fairly rare because I don't think we've seen it yet during this Let's Play. There is an eagle who will just, once you walk into a screen, he'll just fly across the top of the screen. Unfortunately, it happens several seconds after you walk onto a screen, so you kind of, if you want to find the eagle, you sort of have to walk onto a screen and then wait there for... Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's about how long it takes. That was, what, I guess about 5 seconds? And yeah, and sometimes that will happen. Sometimes the eagle will just fly across the screen, but not drop the feather. So that's useless to us. We need to actually get the feather before we can make use of it, obviously, because the whole point of the eagle, the whole useful purpose of the game, of the eagle in the game, besides just looking nice. I mean, I guess I like the squawking sound effect that he makes, and I guess aesthetically he looks nice. He's a nice looking piece of game pixel art, but all right, come on, drop the feather. Drop a feather. Seriously? Wow. If he keeps doing this, like if he just keeps either not showing up or not dropping the feather, I might just off-screen getting the feather. It's not really that big a deal. It's not hard to do. You just have to wait until he actually drops a feather, and you'll see it quite clearly. You'll see pretty clearly a little blob of pixels falling off the bottom of the eagle and drifting slowly to the ground, and then you just walk to where it is and pick it up. It's not that hard to get once it actually shows up. It's just that the eagle often does not spawn. And I keep coming back to this screen because I think that there are certain screens where the eagle shows up and doesn't show up. I could be wrong about that. Does he show up on the screen down at the bottom as well? I seem to recall that what once happened is the eagle showed up on this screen, and then he actually dropped the feather, but it landed somewhere in the chasm there where I couldn't get it. That was quite annoying. Maybe I should do it on another screen. Does the eagle show up here? I'm not sure what screens he shows up on and doesn't show up on. What I usually just do is just walk around and waste a lot of time just walking around and waiting for him, and eventually he'll show up. But it could take an appreciably long time. I don't want to waste half the video just standing around waiting for the eagle to show up, so if he really is not going to cooperate, and if he really just... He's not showing up at all now. Again, I don't know if he shows up on these screens. Like, what screens does the eagle show up on? Or are there any that he doesn't show up on? I don't think he'll show up at the ocean, because that would mean that he'll be flying over the ocean, and I don't think eagles do that, or do they? I don't know. Oh, okay. There we go. There's the eagle. Come on, drop your feather. Drop a feather. There we go. Thank you. Okay, there we go. That little... It looks kind of like a knife almost, but that thing there that fell off is the eagle's feather. So let's go ahead and get the eagle's feather. And while we're here, why don't we go ahead and just take a look at it, since we worked so hard to get it. That's the chicken feather. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's nice. The game actually shows you both of them. That's cool. Okay, the eagle's tail feather makes you wonder what it would be like to soar among the clouds. Well, if you play King's Quest I, maybe you'll find out, Gwydion. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our way back to the house now. It's kind of funny. I think I mentioned before, it's kind of a weird thing. You can use the map inside the house. If you look at the map inside the wizard's house, you can use it to teleport anywhere down here on any of these 20 squares that you can see here, or 20 rectangles or whatever. But you can't use it to get back into the house. You can only teleport to this screen here, and then from here you have to make the walk up the path to the house. So I'll go ahead and do that, because I think we have all the ingredients now. I think I'm not going to check the inventory thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure that we have all the ingredients that we need now to make all of the magic spells, except for one. There's one other magic spell that we can't make yet because we are missing an ingredient, but we need to make another magic spell to get that one ingredient for the other spell. So let's go ahead and just slowly and carefully walk up to the house. And while I'm doing this, I should probably just take a moment to say I didn't want to. At first, I thought I shouldn't say anything about this because, well, two reasons. First of all, it's kind of sad, and I don't want to interject sadness into something like a video like this that's supposed to be funny and lighthearted. But I think it's something that, you know, deserves mentioning. And secondly, I didn't want to say it because I don't want to date these videos. This is a current event now, but a year from now, there'll probably still be somebody watching this video and it won't be current anymore. But I just want to say that I, along with the rest of the world, am quite shocked and very sad about the news of Robin Williams' passing. And some of you are probably sick of hearing about it by now. Some of you will watch this video and say, oh no, not this again. I don't want to hear about this anymore. But I am just stunned. And of course, what's really sad is not just that he's dead, because everybody dies. Everybody dies eventually, especially if you're playing a Sierra adventure, then you die constantly. But I mean, everybody will die at some point in time. But just the way that he died was obviously very tragic. But his timing is perfect for my Let's Play, because we're going to spend the rest of this video doing all these boring spells. So this will be our morning. This will be our morning for Robin Williams. Instead of doing all the cool, awesome things that you should do with an adventure game, like go outside and explore and find new places and get killed by lots of things, let's just stay here inside the wizard's lab and spend the whole rest of the video typing out these boring commands from the game's manual. So let's go ahead, and I have the spells in front of me. So where should we start? Let's go ahead and start with understanding the language of creatures. That is on page 2, typed using Roman numerals. And as before, I'm going to make turning off the sound my first step. You can actually make all of these spells before you get rid of Manannan. If you're fast enough, it's actually very possible. I've done it before on the PC version, because the PC version is a little bit faster than the Apple II version. If you're fast on the PC version, you can do all the spells before Manannan comes back from his first journey. Somebody suggested in a previous video that if you have the spell for understanding the language of animals that you could understand, or that you can hear Manannan talking to you after he turns into a cat. But I don't think that's the case. I tried it, and Manannan didn't say anything to me, even though he had the understanding the speech of animals spell. And actually, those of you, again, referring to King's Quest V, those of you who have played King's Quest V know that Manannan doesn't need, or sorry, not Manannan, you don't need dough in your ears. You don't need the animal spell, understanding speech of animal spell, to understand Manannan talking to you, because even as a cat, he still talks. He talks to, in the 5th game, he talks to the protagonist, who doesn't have a magic spell for understanding the speech of animals. So anyway, let's go ahead and begin. The first thing you do is put the reference I have here says small feather. I'm going to hope that the game understands that I mean the chicken feather, because we don't want to put the eagle feather in the bowl. This should be the chicken feather. Yes, you place the soft downy chicken feather in your clay mixing bowl. Good. Now we put the fur in the bowl, and this is going to be the dog fur. I think you can reuse the cat hair for this. Use the cat hair for the cat cookie, but after you've done that, if you want to grab more hair from the cat and use it for this spell, I think you can, but you get more points for getting the dog hair, so we're going to use the dog fur for this spell. Put the tuft of dog hair in the clay bowl. What's next? We also put the reptile skin in the bowl. Put the dried snake skin in the clay bowl. Okay. Now we need to add a spoonful of powdered fish bone, which we got from the shelves in the back of the laboratory. Put a spoonful of fish bone clatter into the clay bowl. Okay. What's next? Oh, the dew. Put the thimble full of dew in bowl. What? So just to put dew in bowl. There we go. You put the thimbleful of dew into the clay bowl. I'm surprised the game didn't kill me for that. 'Cause usually if you type something that the game doesn't understand, right away it says, oh, you did the spell wrong, you died. But sometimes that doesn't happen, so okay, that's fine. Now what you want to do is you just say mix with hands. You need the ingredients in the clay bowl with your hands. It turns into a stiff dough-like substance. I guess that does happen if you just sort of massage it with your hands. It does turn stiff, doesn't it? So go ahead and separate mixture into 2 pieces. You grasp the doughy mixture into the bowl and divide it into 2 pieces. Now what you need to do is, yes, not joking, put the dough in your ears. You very gently place the 2 pieces of dough in your ears and pull your hair down over them. You prepare to recite the magical incantation. I assume that putting the hair over them is so Manannan wouldn't see them if Manannan were still around. And I suppose they say you very gently do it so that people don't accuse the game of encouraging children to stick things in their ears, because, you know, there's all that controversy about people putting Q-tips in their ears, which is, of course, the one thing that you do with Q-tips. It's like the one thing that people actually use Q-tips for is the one thing you're not supposed to do with them. But apparently putting dough in your ears, animal dough, is okay as long as you do it very gently. Okay, so what's the rhyme? Feather of fowl and bone of fish, molded together in this dish. Give me wisdom to understand how I could just kill a man. Creatures of air, sea, and sand. Whoops. That was land, not sand. Good grief. And of course, Gwydion's ears become huge because that's what happens when you get the spell wrong. Okay, that was me being stupid. You're all ears now, Gwydion. Yeah, very funny. Okay. Oh, I didn't save... Oh, crud. I'm sorry, folks. That was most incautious of me. Oh, you know what? Did I... Hold on. Did I maybe... Did it go into the other disk? Because this... The way that things work with the Apple II... No, that's down there. Okay, never mind. I was incautious enough to not save before trying the spell. I got so emotional talking about Robin Williams, I forgot to save my game. I suppose that is itself its own sort of form of... Okay, anyway. Alright, so we're back at least we don't have to go too far. So we're back at the house. Go back inside. And go back to the... whatever you call it. Some people say laboratory and some people say laboratory. I think technically both are correct. Or you can just say lab or workshop. Many possibilities. English is a language full of synonyms. As are most languages, I guess. I think most languages have a lot of words that are synonyms or almost synonyms. Okay, turn to page 2. Let's try this again. Let me go ahead and actually pull the reference that I'm using a little closer to me so I don't have to crane my neck so far to look at it. Okay, put the small feather... Oh, turn that... Okay, there we go. Turn that music off. Put the small feather in a bowl. Put the fur in the bowl. Put the reptile skin in the bowl. Learn to type. Add a spoonful of powdered fish bone. Put the dew in the bowl. Mix with hands. Separate mixture into 2 pieces. I wonder if you can save your game in the middle of making the spell. What would probably be nice to do is to save my game somewhere like here and then... I can do this, but I just think... Okay, anyway. Put dough in ears. Alright, here we go. Feather of fowl and bone of fish. Molded together in this dish. Give me wisdom to understand creatures of air, sea, and land. Okay, got it. Wave magic wand. You wave the magic wand over your dough-filled ears, successfully completing the spell using the wizard's laboratory. Okay, there we go. That's 1 spell down. I think I mentioned there are 7 spells in the game. We've already done 2 now. And as I mentioned, there's 1 more that we can't do yet. We won't be doing in this video because we don't have a necessary component for it. So that leaves 4 more spells for this video. But before I continue, let's go ahead and just quickly check our inventory. Yeah, the dough in ears is an inventory item, and it doesn't show up with a star because Gwydion's hair is covering it so that Manannan won't see it if Manannan were still around. And I think you actually say look at the dough. Look at dough in ears. Okay, I guess I can do this though. Yeah, select that. It's difficult to look inside your own ears, but it's best you remember the pieces of dough have tiny bits of feather, snake scales, and fur sticking out of them. It's pretty gross, Gwydion, and you put that in your ears? Whatever. Okay, turn to page 4. It's time to... Can't read the book from here. Oh, for some reason Gwydion takes a few steps back after completing the spells, so... Okay. Here we go. A mysterious music fills the laboratory. Okay, this one is pretty straightforward, actually. The procedure for this spell is probably the simplest in the game. Put a pinch of saffron in essence. That's the rose petal essence. You carefully sprinkle the precious saffron into the vial of rose petal essence. That's it. Now we just recite the poem and wave the magic wand. Oh, winged spirits, set me free. You might have noticed that you don't need to use punctuation or capitalization with these. In the manual, these are written with proper punctuation and capitalization, but you don't actually need those. You just need the letters and spaces to be correct. Okay. Set me free of earthly bindings just like thee. Of earthly bindings just like thee. Just wanted to double check that I got that right. I think when I was a kid playing this game, I didn't know what the word thee meant, and I thought that was either a typo or it was supposed to be... I think the first time I tried this, I tried typing just like me, because for some reason I thought that's what it was supposed to say, and then of course I got it wrong and I died. In this essence, behold the might to grant the precious gift of flight. What I could do is show off what happens when you get all of the spells wrong, but I'm already almost done with this one. This one doesn't do anything interesting. I think it just turns Gwydion's head into the head of a fly, because you can fly like a fly. You can turn into a fly using this spell, and so it turns Gwydion's head into a huge fly's head, kind of like in, I think kind of like in that movie The Fly. But anyway, I'm not going to show that, but let's go ahead and wave the magic wand. You wave the magic wand with a vial of rose petal essence, and there you go. The spell's done. Okay. That's another spell. Let's go ahead and save the game. I guess I might as well show off what happens when you get the spells wrong, because why not? So let's go ahead then and, yeah, let's turn to page XIV. That's, I believe, 14. And let's go ahead and do something completely wrong. There we go. A strange feeling comes over you. Wonder if you could have made a mistake. This is the spell for causing a deep sleep. So, of course, now Gwydion is fast asleep. And I don't know why that kills us. I guess he stays asleep forever. Does the spell not wear off? I guess he dies because he sleeps for the rest of his life. Death by sleep. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the spell. Turn to page XIV. Okay. Grind the acorns in a mortar. Yes, the spell calls for 3 dried acorns, and I think I mentioned when I picked up the acorns, what a coincidence that we found 3 dried acorns, which is exactly how many we needed. All right, you put the dried acorns into the stone mortar and use the pestle to grind them into a rough acorn powder. All right, put the acorn powder in the bowl. Turning the heavy stone mortar upside down, you carefully pour the acorn powder into the bowl, then return the mortar to the table. Put the nightshade juice in the bowl. You very carefully pour a cupful of nightshade juice into the clay bowl so as to not spill a single drop. There is now an ugly brown mealy liquid mixture in the bowl. That sounds like what happens when I eat at Taco Bell. So let's stir the mixture with a spoon. You gently stir the unappetizing liquid. And now what we need to do is light a charcoal brazier. Making sure there is fresh charcoal in the brazier. There is a small supply here. You light it with the flint. Soon the brazier is hot. The brazier will eventually burn out, and if you keep doing these spells, I think eventually the game pops up a message later saying the brazier is burned out, which sometimes scares me because when I suddenly see a message pop up, I think I did something wrong, but it's actually just the game letting you know the brazier is burned out. But anyway, let's go ahead and heat the mixture on the brazier. You gingerly place the clay bowl of ugly brown liquid on the charcoal brazier. Soon the hot brazier brings the mixture to a bubble, then a boil, releasing a bitter-smelling steam. You let it boil until the nightshade juice is nearly gone, then remove it from the brazier. Okay, what's next? We spread the mixture on the table. You pour the bowl's contents onto the oaken table, then spread the hot, sticky mixture over the tabletop. In a few minutes, it is dried to a very crumbly, coarse sleeping powder. I kind of think that if you dump liquids onto a wooden table, wouldn't the wood absorb the liquid? Or at least most of it. I guess it depends on the type of wood and whether it was varnished and how dry it was. But still, I don't think that you can really just dump chemicals onto a table and have them harden because they're going to seep into the wood. Anyway, okay. Acorn powder ground so fine. Nightshade juice like bitter wine. Silently in darkness you creep to bring a soporific sleep. I must confess that I have read more than one book in my life, and I actually don't know what soporific means, so don't feel bad if you don't know what it means either. And conversely, don't get cocky if you do know what it means. Anyway, wave magic wand. And you pass the magic wand over the table. And finally, put the sleep powder in the pouch. Remember we bought that empty pouch at the store? This is what it gets used for. You put this powder into the pouch. You scoop the powder from the table and place it within. You now have a pouch full of sleep powder. All right. That's another spell come and gone. Let's go ahead and save after that. And let's see, what's next? Let's go ahead and do, I think we have just 2 more. So let's turn to page LXXXIV. What? Oops, oh. Turn to page LXXXIV. And let's go ahead and do something wrong. This is the spell to brew a storm. Gwydion looks so sad. Why doesn't he just walk out from under the... No silver lining this cloud. Why doesn't he just walk out from under the cloud? It's nice that he brewed a storm, but why doesn't he just walk away? Why doesn't he just walk up the stairs to get away from the storm? Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and do this properly now. All right. So, what do we want to do? Here's where the ocean water comes in. The ocean water is used to make the storm. Put a cup of ocean water in bowl. Pour a cup of ocean water into the mixing bowl. Next, light a charcoal brazier. I think the game's going to tell me it's already burning. Okay, that's fine. Heat the bowl on the brazier. Being cautious not to burn yourself, you gently place the bowl of ocean water on the hot charcoal brazier. You watch as the salt water slowly warms and begins to steam. You remove it just before it boils. Okay. Put a spoon of mud in the bowl. This is where that mud that we got from the riverbank comes in. Adding a spoonful of mud to the hot ocean water that you slowly stir the mixture. The mud turns the water a cloudy brown. Now, for the secret ingredient, we add a pinch of toadstool powder. I guess the game had to include some fictional chemicals because otherwise they would have kids trying to recreate this experiment in their kitchens thinking, hey, I can make a storm by mixing some mud with some boiling seawater. You put just a pinch of toadstool powder in the bowl of hot brown liquid, and now you blow into the hot brew. Leaning over the hot brew, you forcefully blow your longest breath of air into the bowl, whirling the brew around and around. Okay, and now for the rhyme. Elements from the earth and sea combine to set the heavens free. When I stir this magic brew, great god Thor, I call on you, if I can spell your name correctly, sir. All right. And finally, we wave the magic wand, as always, and we pour the storm brew into the jar. Waiting till liquid is cooled, you carefully pour the storm brew into an empty glass jar. Successfully completing the spell. Okay, that was it. And we have just one more spell. This is the spell for becoming invisible. So let's go ahead and save quickly. You can probably imagine what happens if you get the spell wrong, but let's go ahead and take a look. Turn to page CLXIX. And what happens? Oh, Gwydion just disappears. Well, that's a very creative way to die, isn't it now? Gwydion? Oh, Gwydion! What Gwydion? Where? Well, that was certainly very surprising, wasn't it? All right, let's go ahead and... Why do I keep doing that? Turn to page CLXIX. Okay. Last spell. Cut the cactus with a knife. I'm having a hard time typing and looking at the instructions at the same time. I apologize. Using your kitchen carving knife, you cut a gash in the small cactus. Juice begins to drip. Squeeze the cactus juice on spoon. Grabbing one of the measuring spoons from the oaken table, you grasp the slit cactus in your hand and squeeze it until you have a spoonful of cactus juice. The small cactus is quite devoid of liquid now, so you toss it away. Okay. Ah, yes, here we go. The brazier has burned all the charcoal and is now cool. But it's not wearing sunglasses. It's not that cool. All right, let's go ahead and put the cactus juice in a bowl. Carefully add the spoonful of cactus juice to the bowl. Put the lard in the bowl, because why not? You scrape the lard into the mixing bowl and keep the now empty jar nearby to store your finished formula. Add 2 drops of toad spittle. Carefully pour the 2 drops of toad spittle into the bowl. Stir mixture with spoon. Using one of the stirrers lying on the table, you mix the lard, cactus juice, and toad spittle until it is smooth and blended. Will it blend? Okay, cactus, plant, and horny toad. Yes, insert your own jokes here. I now start down a dangerous road. Probably is if it involves a horny toad, yes. Combine with fire and mist to make me disappear without a trace. Because this spell only works in a place where there is both fire and mist. Seems like a pretty obvious clue, doesn't it? I guess it probably is. All right, we have the magic wand. You wave the magic wand, and finally put the ointment in the empty lard jar. You scoop the invisibility ointment out of the clay bowl and return it to the lard jar. Okay, that's it. That's an ointment that will make Gwydion invisible if he smears it all over himself in a place with Fire and Mist. All right, let's go ahead and save. And I think that was it. Let's go ahead and quickly recap. So what do we have? Of course, we have the cat cookie spell, which we have already made use of. We won't see that in our inventory anymore. We have the doe in our ears to help us understand the speech of animals. We have the magic rose essence, with which we can fly like an eagle or a fly. We'll see more about that later. We have the sleep powder. We have the storm brew, and we have the invisibility ointment. I think that's it. That is that's all she wrote. So, like I said, we have one more spell, which we'll get to probably in the next video, and then we'll continue with King's Quest III. Take a look at that score. If you look at the score, you'll see we're actually almost, we're probably, in terms of the score, we're already around 2/3 of the way through the game. We are definitely getting close to the point where we're probably ready to start ending the game. But there are still more adventures ahead of us. There are still more places to go and things to see and do in King's Quest III. So thanks for coming along with me, everyone. I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.